welcome to another episode of Life Outside the Box. I am your host, Extra the Director, and I'm here with a very good friend of mine. And 50% of the chance we're probably going to argue in this episode, so be prepared. This is my guy Manny right here. Manny, what's good?
What's good, baby?
All right. So you know how I brought you on this show, man.
Right.
Because over the years that we've known each other, that I felt that you are like kind of like me when it comes to sneakers. We always hit each other Instagram DMs. We've been around each other because we're pretty much family.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to, have you on this show so you can bring me something special. And before we started recording, I'm gonna start this off right. Before we started recording, you said some shit I did not like about this sneaker you brought.
Gotcha.
But we gonna get into that.
Absolutely.
Right. So first and foremost, before we even get into the sneaker, I want you to tell me, what do you feel that you qualify yourself as a sneakerhead? Why do you feel you qualify yourself as a sneakerhead?
Sneakerhead, I wouldn't say I'm a sneakerhead more or less.
What's the term you would use?
I would just say
the term you would use?
The term I would use would be like, I don't know, I think I'm just an admirer of the art of it. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I think, it's easy to throw patent leather on a sneaker and say it's fire, or
right.
Throw outlandish colors, crazy collabs. But with me, the sneakers I brought, which we're gonna see in a minute, for me, the devil's in the details, right? So a sneaker could look plain Jane,
that's a good quote.
But once you take a good look at the sneaker,
right.
Top to bottom, the craftsmanship of it, is what intrigues me the most about it.
Right. Yeah, I respect that. I respect that about you. What was the shoe that made you feel like, all right, this sneakers is it. This is what I gotta get into. This is what I love. What's your holy grail shoe?
So for me, it was the Jordan 17.
Wow,
to me,
really?
To me, it's one of the most underrated. It was one of the first Jordans to actually retail for $200. There was no other Jordan to retail for $200. Remember, it came in a suitcase and all that.
I was just about to say that. The Jordan 17 is actually, for those y'all haven't seen the Jordan 17, because usually people go from 1 to 16, and then everything after 16 kind of fades away into the history books. But as far as the Jordan 17 came in its own suitcase. The first thing we ever seen. Most of us was probably still in high school when the Jordan 17 came out.
I was a sophomore.
Right. So most of us were still in high school, so certain things like that we didn't really care about. But the Jordan 17 was a very good sneaker. It came in its own suitcase. I think didn't have a CD with it. It came with a CD or something like that.
It came with a CD. It came with the styrofoam on the inside.
Yeah. It was like a Pelican box with sneakers. We never seen this before in the sneaker culture. So it was amazing to see that this sneaker right here just. You open up the suitcase, you got the CD, you got the styrofoam, you got the shoes. It made you feel like the sneaker was worth the $200 you paid for it because you got so much for it.
Right. Yeah, man. And I used to front with the box, man. If I was going to my aunt's house or going for a sleepover, I wouldn't even pack them shits. I just carried a suitcase like, I got the 17s, you know what I'm saying? But they resonate with me. They're very nostalgic for the simple fact that that was the first time my pops was. He was a little cheap sometimes. He'd be like, but then that one day he was like, you can have those. And ever since then I was just like, this is, that nostalgic feel and the love kind of just came out of that.
Right. That's dope. So all right, so show me what you bought for me today, man. I wanna see. This is a fancy box right here. I wanna see what's in here.
Got you. So the sneakers I brought today. Today the Jordan 3s, the A MA Maniere 3s. This is a collab between the sneaker boutique in Chicago, not in Chicago, in Atlanta, called A MA Maniere. And the name of this shoe is called Raised by Women. So this sneaker was inspired by the women in his life, in particular his mom.
Okay.
I just really, like I said, the devil's in the details, and I really appreciated the craftsmanship of the shoe. So. On the inside, it's quilted silk, which to me gives it a real, kind of luxurious quality to it. You got the raw cut leather on the side, which I really like. The long hair suede, which is pretty dope. And he actually has some notes written by his mom's on the inside.
Wow.
Which to me just added a personal touch to them. And when I look at sneakers, and when I look for sneakers in particular, you know, I look for practicality, right? I look for a pair of sneakers that I could throw on with anything I'm wearing. You know what I'm saying? And I actually wore these to my grandmother's 96th birthday, and I wore this, you know, with some slacks, white button up, and you know, they just blended in, you know, and the practicality of it is what gets me, and just the overall craftsmanship of it is super dope. Just real quick on the inside, his mom wrote, hold up, "You have to get comfortable walking alone," which is fire. And also, it's kind of a contradictory quote, but it makes sense, and it says, "All we have is each other." You know, I just thought, you know, just the story behind it is what made me gravitate to the shoe. And this is why this shoe is top 5 for me for the year. I know that's a controversial for you, because I know.
I was waiting for you to finish.
I already know, but for me personally, I'm, you know, the devil's in the details, man. And this is just one shoe that I feel like the more you look at it, the more you could appreciate the craftsmanship behind it.
Right.
So yeah.
So earlier, before we started filming, you know, I had a lot to say about your statement about this being the top 5 shoe. So now, I didn't know certain things about this shoe. Right? The devil is in the details. So as far as details go on this particular sneaker, I think the details are amazing. They're very. I'm an earth tone type of guy. I was born in October. I like those type of sneakers where I could wear with anything. Because earth tones you can pretty much wear with anything. But with this sneaker, what made me see why you said it was a top 5 sneaker is strictly because of the detail behind the tag. So this is not a detail that's written on the sneaker, because a lot of sneaker companies are write certain things on the sneaker. So you can obviously, they'll put it in your face here, read this because this is fire. No. The fact that this is behind the tag is amazing to me.
I think the quilted silk on the inside is ridiculous. The
quilted silk on the inside adds to it, but like you say, the devil's in the details. This inside the tab it's a lot for me. It's personal. It's fire. It's something that, you know, when it comes to personality and thoughts like this, like his mother wrote this to him, and that's stuff that he keeps in his head. So that's stuff that we as people would never see because he has that here. But the fact that you have it, here on the design of your sneaker is also something nobody will never see, because as you can look, you can't see it through the tab. But the tab is pretty much a clear tab as far as sneaker clarity goes. And for you to be able to fold that and read a motivational quote says a lot to me about what you wear on your feet, and that is amazing. So I'll backtrack my statements from earlier. I'm not gonna argue with you this episode, even though I should, but you know, we keep that, and that's amazing. So moving forward, man, what's a sneaker that you don't have in your collection that you feel needs to be in your collection? You'll do anything to get these collections. Well, not anything, but you'll do what you got to do to get this sneaker to have it in your arsenal.
I mean, for me, you know, I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. You know, bring it back to the nostalgic thing. It would be the Space Jam 11s, man. I mean, those were. I believe the originals came out in 2000. I was 13, and you know, obviously the Space Jam hype was crazy. And you know, unfortunately at the time, you know, we didn't have the means to make that happen for myself. So that was always a shoe that I coveted. Every time it came out, I missed out on it.
Me too.
And
Me too. I never had a business.
You know, I paid resale many times, and I don't know. I mean, I might have to make that leap, but that's definitely the sneaker that I'm most looking for.
See, I noticed the resellers. I can't make the leap. I can't make the leap because the sneaker to go for triple the amount. And although it's a worthy sneaker, it's more so of why you got to beat my pockets in order for me to enjoy my childhood all over again by acquiring a Space Jam 11. So that's a sneaker that I've never owned as well as the infrared 6s. I keep saying on this show, the infrared 6s is more of my kryptonite sneaker. I wouldn't call it a holy grail. It's my favorite Jordan, but I wouldn't call it a holy grail only because I do have other holy grail sneakers out there for me. But yeah, I mean, that's amazing. I'm glad you bought this here. But tell me something about a difficulty you may have had trying to acquire a sneaker. Which sneaker was it? Where were you at that point in your life? when it comes to that sneaker.
I mean, at this point, which sneaker isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Like every time a sneaker releases, it's like, you know, you gotta mess with the raffles, you gotta go on sneakers, you gotta try your luck in different retailers, and I mean, like most people, I think it's just the bots. It's just kind of like the internet taking over the game of sneakers.
Right.
Whereas once upon a time, on a sneaker release, like, you know, it went from you being able to walk into the store. Like when I bought the 17s with my father all them years ago, we walked into a VIM. Like, you know, VIM at the time had the Nike contracts, the Jordan contracts, and it was an easy buy. But it went from that to long sneaker lines to raffles and then the bots. So for me, that's just, you know, that's really the difficulty, and that's the most frustrating part, is that I find myself oftentimes, you know, having to settle for resale even though I hate it. You know, like, you know, sometimes I gotta pay. If I really want a sneaker that bad, I'll pay the price. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So do you think the Nike sneaker app, Adidas Confirm, apps like that, do you think that is the equivalent of standing on a long line? And would you rather not get a sneaker after standing in a long line, or would you rather not get a sneaker off the sneaker app or the Adidas Confirm app because of the bots and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'd rather, like, if I had to take an L and have to choose which way to take an L on a sneaker, it definitely would be waiting online, because at least I know those are real people standing in line getting them sneakers, as opposed to me, you know, going on a Confirm app knowing that, you know, some random person got a bot that's buying 20 pairs, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like that cheating aspect of the game. Like, the game is full of cheaters, man.
Yeah, and that's what messes up the sneaker game too. I think, and I agree with you. I would rather take my L on the line. In fact, I did take a bad L on the line. So when you remember the DMP package?
Of course.
When it had the black and gold sixes,
DMP sixes,
and the 11s, right? So this is the LI took. So at the time, I think they came out when I was about 19. I was working in Finish Line in Green Acres Mall, and right across from Finish Line in Green Acres Mall is Jimmy Jazz. So Jimmy Jazz was releasing them. Finish Line didn't have the rights to the DMP package, and there was a couple other stores in Green Acres Mall that didn't have the right for the DMP package. And for y'all that don't know what the DMP package is, it means Defining Moments package. So Jordan's Defining Moments, he released the Air Jordan Black and Gold 6, and he released the white and black Concord 11s, but they had gold features to them, so it wasn't really a Concord. So I'm waiting in line. This is right before my shift is starting. Waiting in line. Get to the front of the line. It's 1 10.5 left in the store, because the security guard is announcing it. 10.5. I got 1 10.5. I got 4 9s. I got, you know what I'm saying? So he's announcing it. I get to the front of the line, and some guy walks up that wasn't standing on line or nowhere. Gives a dap to the dude at the door. What's up, bro?
Terrible.
Walks in the store, buys the last 10.5. There was no more 10s available, because the trick with the sneakers, if you take the insole out, you know, you can get a half size.
Yep.
So there was no more 10s left, and I wasn't going up. I always go down, I would never go up. Buys the last 10.5 DMP package, walks out the store like nothing ever happened, and I was sick. This is probably the only release ever that I wanted to cry, but I didn't get it. Shit pissed me off so much.
You know, you took 2 L's in a sense, because that pack was crazy.
That pack was insane. I didn't even want it for the 11s. I wanted it for the 6s. But so when the 6s released again, I was able to get them. You know, I got them. I'll show them later in the show. I'm gonna unbox them for y'all. I never even put them on my feet yet either, and I had them since they dropped. But I'm gonna show the fans what it is when it comes to that sneaker, and that just blew my mind when it came to a release. So, but I would have much rather took that L and take it on the Nike Sneakers app and not know who's doing what, because like you said, there could be a bot out there that somebody's programming on a computer during the internet age and just bought 30 pairs, and that's why it sold out so fast. It is what it is, man. But yo, listen, bro, I appreciate you for coming, man. I brought you on the show for a very specific reason. That's because you have a very good knowledge of shoes, as you displayed here today. And I appreciate you so much for being here, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Absolutely, all the time, man. My name is Extra the Director, and this is Life Outside the Box. All right, guys, we reached the part of the show where I present to you a sneaker out of my personal collection. And this is a sneaker that I actually spoke about earlier in this episode. You heard my DMP story, so I felt like I needed to present these to you today because I have not worn them yet. So I'm just gonna unbox the black and gold 6s that were originally a part of the DMP package. So here we go. can see, the paper's still fresh. I haven't put these on my feet yet. I've had them since they dropped last year. And this sneaker to me is just so amazing. As you heard on previous episodes, the Jordan 6 is my favorite Jordan, period. Infrared 6s is my kryptonite sneaker. I've never gotten a pair of those. But as far as the 6s go, when I first saw this sneaker, I immediately fell in love. The midsole features this gold tints here. It has the gold dog tag, and I was in the military, so that kind of resonates with me as well. The gold Jordan logo on the front. The black Jordan logo on the back with the gold 23 here. And this sneaker, when it first came out, like I said, it came with a pair of Jordan 11s, which would originally be called Concords, but because it had the gold accents and the gold features, it was a part of the DMP pack. The defining moments in Jordan's career is what made him release this pack. There's other packs that came out as far as Raging Bulls. There was a pack of any Jordan that equaled the number 23, Jordan released a pack for after the Defining Moments pack. So yeah, this right here, this is one of my all-time favorites. I'm so glad I got this shoe when I got it. Shout out to the Sneakers app, as you heard earlier in episodes. Sneakers app is not always a hit for people, but this time it was a hit for me. Like I said, you miss every shot you don't take, and I took a shot and I made it with the 6s. So I'm happy to have these a part of my collection. Here we go. Black and gold Jordan 6s. Listen, man, this is. How is this dirty? Hold on, she got dirt on them. Alright, let's do that again. Let's take 4, right?
Camera's rolling.
Alright, guys, we reached the part of the show where I am.
Yo, walk and then go back and sit down.
No, I'm good. It's just,
you know, bro, you're literally rushing.
yeah, because I'm trying not to stumble on that reach word.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Action.
All right, guys, we reached the part of the show where I unveil a. How the fuck I'm having a dream? Let's go see it. Heard earlier, I spoke about the DMP 6s, well, the DMP pack in general, but I spoke specifically about the sneakers. Of course, I spoke about the sneakers. What else did I speak about? I'm putting that in the bloopers at the end of this episode too.